I know this movie came out a couple months ago in the festivals, but I finally saw it. One Life. How are you going to live your one life? Chase Lee Hockey here with the Blue Futon reviewing One Life. What's about? Pretty simple premise. You have Anthony Hopkins kind of, going through his mundane life as an older man, still having some regrets of not being able to save all the children he could in Czechoslovakia to try to get him into the UK. But now his wife is like, you need to start getting rid of some of the stuff. And he sees this briefcase. And he's like, you know what? Maybe I need to give this to a museum. And little does he know, he gave it to the right people to have a little, I want to call it a family reunion, but a reunion of all this, not all, but most of the 669 kids he saved. So did I like this film? I thought it was a really good, heartwarming movie. I won't lie, there was a scene in the trailer which I was disappointed it showed, but even when they showed it in the trailer, I still cried at it when watching the movie. So when talking about the overall message, like I said, it's heartwarming. It's a good message of like, what are you willing to do to help someone else that you really don't know, or at least children? It's very interesting nowadays where people are comparing this to refugees that are happening across the border in the UK as well. The issue with that is not a lot of them are children. And if they are children, they don't have their families with them and they're sold into sex trafficking. So I don't like people making comparisons to this one, but this is just about the movie itself, about the true story of it. The acting is pretty phenomenal. I think the overall message, like I said, is pretty heartwarming and to the point. And it does go into what are you willing to do? Are you willing to put your life at the back end of it to try to save people you don't know? And it's really, really good messaging. I think the aesthetics of the movie really works. I think the overall message works. It's going to be a pretty simple review because it is a very simple movie. It is PG. And they kept it PG for a reason because even though this is a heavy-handed topic, they decided to go, I want to call it surface level, but not as deep as I think it should have or what I want it to be. Like I said, it's heartwarming. You know exactly what's going to happen from A to B to C. Not because you haven't seen the movie, because you've seen the trailer and you know what's going to happen at the very end. So it's kind of disappointing overall. I think also how we get to him being older and what happened is his younger self with his mom. I think it does skip a lot of stuff, which I understand why they wanted to, but it's something where I was kind of craving more when it was like them trying to get the kids to the adults. Because literally that's all the movie shows is when he was in Czech, he would go to the kids, put numbers on them, put them on the train. When they would get to the UK, the family members would say, number 171, you're going with them. Number 527, you're going with them. And they do that about 7 times. The only time there's really tension in the movie was a scene where the Nazis were actually coming on the train asking the UK guy, why do you want all the Jewish kids? And at the very end where you could tell that all the kids were taken off the train on, I think, trip number 9, which was about to be 250 kids, and that didn't happen because that was the time when German invaded Poland. So those were the only tension-esque moments of the movie. Everything else, it worked kind of perfectly, even though it probably didn't. You just saw the whole, them going to the immigration office and saying, we need your help. And they're like, of course we're going to help. Of course, there's a little hesitation here and there. But the overall, thing is going to occur where Helen Barring Carter, I'm saying her name completely wrong, says her speech, they agree. Anthony Hopkins' younger self says a speech, they agree. So even though it's very heartwarming, it's a heartfelt message, it's a warming message, it's good to the soul, it's chicken noodle soup, I wish it had more substance to the soup. But overall, One Life, it's a very serviceable movie. It's a very just well thoughtful movie that it makes you think of what's happening today and then, the differences, and yes, there's differences. If you say there's actually Nazis now, I just think you're diminishing what actually occurred in the 1930s and 40s. So One Life will receive a 4 out of 5 with futons, which equals that 80%. So see the critics and user scores gave this one. Critics hit 88% with 103 of them. Audience scored 92% with 250 plus. Critic consensus held aloft by outstanding work from a tremendous cast. One Life plays heartwarming tribute to a remarkable humanitarian effort. I agree. Humanitarian effort. They did their best. I think the good line in this movie is you cannot save everyone. But also when I said in my out of the early act, oh my god, out of the first reaction, there's a scene where a Jewish man was like, "Why do you want to help our Jewish kids?" It's like, just accept help where help is someone's willing to give help. Kind of doesn't make sense. 80, 88, 92. Chase Lock here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Bhutontopia. You Bhutoners think watch a great day. And I'll watch today, tomorrow, week from now, month, or a year from now. Every single freaking one of you. And like I said, movie 1 of 4 was watched. So let's keep it going.